Good morning. The article lesson is going to be extremely important for many of us, simply because the article is something that many Sinhala speakers miss in inserting into a sentence, right? Which grammatically in English makes a sentence wrong. Why does this happen? Mainly because in Sinhala there is no particular word called the article. Articles, the use is there, but they are normally fitted into the Sinhala word. For example, miniha becomes minihek, the ek pratyaya. Gehaniya, gehaniyak, ak pratyaya. The meaning or the function of the article is there, but it's gone into the word, so that to have a separate word, like the articles that stands outside a word, is very, very unfamiliar to people who are learning English later, and they tend to either forget to use it, which makes the sentence not very correct. For example, if you say I met girl, that's a grammatically wrong sentence. So I met a girl yesterday would make it grammatically okay. It also implies that you met anyone, not a particular girl, but any girl yesterday. I met a girl yesterday. The girl came to see me today. If you use those sentences together, I met a girl yesterday, the girl came to see me today, by the use of the, it becomes a definite person. So the is called a definite article. A is called an indefinite article. There is another form, an. N is used when the sound is of a vowel. The vowel sound has a N. A consonant sound has a. Both are indefinite when it could be anyone. I met a girl yesterday. I saw an elephant yesterday. The elephant was in the zoo. The elephant. So the second the is when it is specifically about the elephant that you saw. Any elephant. I saw an elephant yesterday. The elephant was in the zoo. The is a very old-fashioned rule. I think one is before a consonant, it becomes the, or the becomes a consonant. I'm not going to tell you that rule because some are very old-fashioned now. So the elephant, okay, was in the zoo. So you know, I saw an elephant yesterday, any elephant. The elephant was in the zoo. You're referring to the elephant that you saw yesterday. I met a girl last evening. The girl came to see me today. So the girl is the girl you met last evening. Definite when you use the, indefinite when it could be anyone. Second thing you must remember, what are the plurals? When you, because an and the come before nouns, you have to have a noun after that, right? So nouns have plurals. What happens to and an with a plural? They get left off. They just drop it. No problem. A girl likes to read books. Any girl, a girl likes to read books. How would you put it into the plural? Girls like to read books. A girl likes to read books. It's like a common, a general statement. A girl likes to read books. Girls like to read books. Plural. And you just drop the a. A boy can cook. General statement. A boy can cook. Plural. Boys can cook. Generally, boys can cook. Generalize. Okay? The remains even if it's singular, even if it's plural. I saw an elephant yesterday. The elephant was in the zoo. I saw elephants yesterday, because when an indefinite is pluralized, the gets dropped off. I saw elephants yesterday. The elephants, now specific. The elephants, and the or the does not change. The elephants were in the zoo. So second thing you have to remember, apart from the an indefinite, the definite, plural an gets dropped off. The remains whether it's singular or plural. Okay. So when we talk about singular and plural, you also must understand there is another kind of noun, what is called a mass noun, which is neither singular nor plural. For example, it could be something like intangible noun, something that you can't touch, happiness. Okay, or sand or water. Water you can't count. Cups of water you can count, but water you can't count, right? Bread you can't count. Loaves of bread you can count. So if you have a countable phrase before it, 10 cups of water, right? A cup of water. Same rule. But if you just say water with a mass noun, you cannot use a or an. You can't say give me a water. Okay? You can't say give me a bread. It's got to be give me a loaf of bread. Give me a cup of tea. Of course, I have heard enough and more people say give me a tea. Especially in a canteen, now tea has become, a countable noun, and language changes through time. Remember, you have to allow those changes and not shout and say, okay, that's grammatically wrong. I myself might have said, give me a tea. Okay, but grammatical, if you want to be, give me a water, it should be give me a cup of water. Give me a loaf of bread. Because for mass nouns, you don't use a or an, which are for singular. But the can be used if you are talking about a particular group. Water is important for life. Water is important for life. A general statement talking about the concept of water in general. The water in that pot is hot. The water in that pot. So if you're talking about a particular water, the water in that pot, you can use the water in that pot is hot. Let's take a mass intangible noun. Happiness is important in life. Don't have to use any article before that. Happiness is important to everyone. You don't have to say the happiness is important, because those intangible nouns don't have to have an article before them. Happiness is important to life. Laughter is the best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. Okay, so mass nouns can have the, if you're talking to a particular thing, particular group of it. Intangible nouns like happiness, laughter can easily come without any article. Singular nouns normally have to have an article before it. And very often Sinhala speakers might forget that singular nouns have to have an article in English, because we have it inside the verb. Miniha, minihek. Gehaniya, gehaniyak. Ek, ak, pratya. We have the pratya concept, while as English language has the article concept. So actually I gave a lot of information within this lesson. Try to go back. I mean, YouTube is a wonderful system where you can go back and listen again. Listen how it's used with mass nouns, and then the particular form of intangible nouns, how you can use it. Because just as you have to know when to use it, you have to know when not to use it also. Okay, I think the one last thing I can add is sometimes the is used when there is only one thing in the world. the sun, the sea. So there are nouns in which invariably you don't say it without saying the. The sun is very bright today. You didn't say sun is very bright. The sun is very bright today. The sea is rough. Don't go in. So if someone wants to say, be careful, he says the sea is rough. Please don't go in. Okay, so when it's there, you normally say it. Another place not to use it is proper nouns. When it's a name, it's a noun and a name, you don't have to use an article. So you can't, like for example, if you say Kamani came home yesterday, you never say the Kamani. You never say a Kamani. Proper nouns, which are nouns which are names, you don't have to use it. Sri Lanka, not the Sri Lanka. But some names have the as part of it. For example, the United States of America. The USA. You don't technically say USA. I mean, of course you do, but the grammatical term is the USA. The UK, the United Kingdom, because the whole phrase is, the name has the Philippines, group of islands, the Philippines. So remember which names have the as part of their names as well, and then use it. Otherwise, don't. You don't say the Germany, the Japan, the Sri Lanka. You don't say that. You just say Sri Lanka, Japan, Germany. Only a few names have that the or the article as part of it, right? And the other thing, if it's a singular thing like the sun, the moon, the sea, we always use it as a definite article and you put it there. Last week, I taught you about the superlative. Almost always, superlatives have the tallest person in class. Kamani is the cleverest girl in her class. So superlatives also have the. Remember these rules, and even if I am going through very quickly, education is all over now. All you have to do is put articles on the internet. Even on the phone, just type articles and all the rules will come. Okay, facts are there. So if you want to go revise and see whether there are details I haven't spoken about here, a good lesson like say the British Council website would give you a free lesson in articles if you know how to use the internet. So don't worry too much. I don't worry too much thinking, have I forgotten something? Because if I tell you where to look, you can go there and learn in more detail. They will also have exercises there with the answers. So education is freely available now. Unlike in the past, please use it. Also, word of warning, not all websites are good. Okay, so be very careful where you go to learn. Some actually might have mistakes. So that is why I say if it's a university website or even the British Council is technically okay in grammar, in things like that, though the accent will be very different and you don't have to follow the accent, but the grammar rule you can safely follow. The poem in which any poem, any single song or poem would have had articles, but I wanted to teach you this beautiful poem by Emily Dickinson. So I chose that, and it's called Hope is the Thing with Feathers. This is quite a brilliant poet, Emily Dickinson. I've done her before, and she has titled this by creating a metaphor, right, for hope. You know what hope is, what you want, what you desire, what your dream is. And she has made hope a bird, but she hadn't called it a bird, the thing with feathers. So the thing with feathers is a bird, no? It is a bird who has feathers. So the title itself has the use of the definite article very effectively. Hope is the thing with feathers. Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers. It perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and so must be the storm that could abash the little bird that keeps so many warm. I've heard it in the chilliest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. A quick explanation of that. So she starts by the very title, hope is the thing with feathers that perches. Perches is a verb. A bird perches on a branch. So the metaphor of the bird or the allegory is running right throughout this poem. So she equates hope with a bird that perches, sits in the soul, inside. Your soul is, I'll be hard put to explain where the soul is, but it's generally considered to be inside of you. Your mind, your spiritual feeling, everything is inside. Your emotions perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words. There is a tune that he sings without the words, just a melody, music. Because, I don't know, I think most of you would like music. Music or the melody has an immediate way of changing your mood. I don't know, I hope you learn how to use music like that. If you're sad, if you're unhappy, if you put a particular music to listen, sometimes it can change your feeling. It may not change your situation, but it might make you feel better, right? Sings the tune without the words, right? Also could have been used for the, and never stops at all, because hope is one thing. No matter how bad things are, it keeps singing. This little bird in your soul keeps singing. And honestly, I really hope that is one animal you'll never lose, because sweetest in the gale is heard. Now, and sweetest, grammatically there should have been a the here, but poets are allowed to break grammar rules. It's called poetic license. Don't do it if you're answering an exam, but in creative writing you can. And sweetest in the gale is heard. So gale is when things are bad, when things are tough. And then that tune that hope sings is the sweetest melody that you can hear. And so must be the storm. So means really rough, really bad, painful must be the storm that could abash the little bird. Abash means to embarrass, to make shy, to make scared. If that bird ever gets scared and shy and stops singing, the storm must be very bad, must be really painful. That keeps so many warm. So this little bird can keep so many warm. So many of us have hope. No matter how bad situation is or how bad the country or whatever is, you try to make a difference. And you do it only because there is hope that things might be better. Even in personal life, no matter how bad things are, you try to make things better, and that's hope. So must be the storm that could abash the little bird that keeps so many warm. So she's using the adjective warm related in relation to the storm. The storms normally are cold. So when something is cold outside, you need warmth. And she's saying this bird can keep so many warm. Hope can keep us warm even when it's freezing outside, right? And now she becomes personal and says, I've heard it in the chilliest land. So the land doesn't have to be, chilliest would be winter, storm. You get chilled. Chilled means very, very freezing cold. And the poet says, I've heard it in the chilliest land. When in the coldest country, I have heard this song. Hope has never left me, right? And on the strangest sea, the sea, a sea which is not familiar to you, you're discomforted. On the strangest sea, I have heard this song. And this is a beautiful thing, the way in which she ends, and never in extremity, no matter how extreme the situation is, this little bird never asked for anything. Normally you can give a crumb, bread crumbs to a bird. He says this bird, which is hope, never asked, and never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. never said feed me something. Kept on singing no matter how difficult the storm was, no matter how familiar, dissimilar or strange the sea was, no matter how cold the outside was, it kept singing, perched inside my soul, and never asked a crumb of me. Okay. Beautiful poem, and a poem that it's good to believe in, because when things get bad, that little bird, which is hope, if it's singing inside your heart, that might save you. Okay, so to go back to the lesson for the adjectives, you'll see how, except in the sweetest, where the article is not used, there are many superlatives used here: the sweetest, strangest, chilliest. So link it to my comparative superlative lesson of adjectives I did last week. It's very connected. And look, a crumb, the little bird, because now we know it's called hope, right? A lot of definite articles used here because he's talking about a particular bird, the bird called hope. Okay, with feathers, no article, because feathers, plural, indefinite, plural nouns don't have to have an article, and it's not there. All right, read the poem again, see whether you can find what I thought in it. Even if you don't, I hope you enjoy the poem because it's one of the best I have ever read. Thank you very much.